And check this out, the Great Falls Public Library doing away with late fees.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Thanks for making MTN a part of your night. I'm Tim McGonigal. First tonight, it's been a very active weather day for parts of Montana. We've seen gusty winds, down lines causing power outages in Great Falls and some strong thunderstorms. Meteorologist Curtis Grevenis joins us off the top with a first look at our forecast. Curtis?
Yes, good evening, everybody. That storm that pushed through the Great Falls area around 7:30, 8 o'clock was severe with wind gusts up to 59 miles per hour. A lot of the state looking at scattered thunderstorms. Let's go to the radar. You can see the activity here north, south, east, and west. And if you haven't seen a thunderstorm yet, just wait. We're not through with the activity here for tonight. Some thunderstorms may be continuing all the way into the wee hours of the morning. And speaking of tomorrow and Friday, a red flag warning for most of Montana. We are likely looking at the worst fire weather conditions that we have seen all summer long. Tonight, storms and strikes continue, and it's those lightning strikes that could set the stages for wildfire growth tomorrow. If we have any smoldering holdover strikes here through the overnight hours, just kind of waiting for the humidity drop and for the wind to pick up. We'll talk more about that red flag warning coming up. And this weekend, certainly a refreshing feel. Actually, it looks quite beautiful besides the fire danger. I'll have more on the full forecast coming up later in the show.
Thanks, Curtis. It looks like much of Montana may be voting by mail ballots in the November 3rd general election. Today, Governor Steve Bullock gave county election officials the power to decide whether to give all voters the option of mail ballots in November to ensure voter safety during the COVID-19 pandemic. As MTN's Mike Dennison reports, larger counties already are indicating that's the way they'll go.
2 weeks ago, county election officials asked Governor Bullock to give them the same choice in the general election that he did in the June primary, to close regular polling stations and move to an all-mail ballot. On Thursday, the governor agreed.
It only makes sense that we start preparing now to ensure that no Montanan will have to choose between their vote or their health. They didn't have to in June, and they shouldn't have to in November.
By late Thursday, at least 4 of the state's big urban counties indicated they'll be moving to an all-mail ballot: Billings, Helena, Missoula, and Great Falls. In the primary election, all 56 counties eventually chose that route, and it led to a record-high turnout, surpassing the previous primary turnout record by 90,000 votes. If Montana counties go that way in November, they'll send ballots out to all registered voters on October 9th. But as Bullock pointed out, voters can still cast their ballot in person. They'll just have to do it at the county election office, starting as early as October 2nd and continuing through Election Day on November 3rd. The governor's order also says early voter registration will be extended until 10 days before the election, and that registration can still occur right up to and including on Election Day. Bullock said he trusts local election officials to make the right call to ensure people's right to vote safely.
The election administrators, in their expert judgment, urge that it's necessary to follow a structure resembling the June 2020 primary, providing early voting opportunities as well as expanded mail voting in order to provide maximum opportunities for Montanans to vote while reducing safety risks.
And one last thing. This is a huge election for Montana with big-time races up and down the ticket. Now we'll likely have a huge voter turnout to make those decisions. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
County election officials and county commissioners across Montana will be deciding whether their respective county goes primarily to a mail ballot. We wanted to know the process this decision has to go through, reaching out to Cascade County Elections Administrator, who told us she would first have to pose the issue to commissioners who then would vote on it. She tells us she's in full support of mail-in ballots and will ask commissioners to approve it. She adds right now 82% of voters in the county are on the permanent absentee list, and she says she does not want to subject staff or election judges to the possibility of getting sick if they have to deal with thousands of walk-ins on Election Day. Well, the Montana Libertarian Party will not be fielding a candidate for the U.S. Senate this year. Libertarian U.S. Senate candidate Susan Good-Giese withdrew earlier this summer. She said her pandemic-related duties as a Lewis and Clark County Commissioner would not allow her time to campaign for the Senate. A Libertarian Party committee met last month to choose a replacement, But party chairman Sid Dowd of Kalispell told MTN News that the winning choice in the committee balloting was none of the above. That means the party will not have a candidate on the ballot for Montana's high-profile U.S. Senate race between Democrat Steve Bullock and Republican U.S. Senator Steve Daines. However, the race does have a Green Party candidate this fall. In the past, Montana U.S. Senate races, a third-party candidate has sometimes been a factor in a close contest. Rocky Boy Health Center has announced its first COVID-19 related deaths. The individuals are males in their 50s and 60s, both with underlying health conditions. The Chippewa Cree tribe's stay-at-home order and curfew mandate remains in effect. Also tonight, Cascade County now reporting its third COVID-related death. The health department says this one is linked to a recent outbreak in a long-term care facility in Great Falls. All they can confirm is the victim is a male over the age of 65 with underlying health conditions. Again, they have not released the name of that facility. It brings the death toll in Montana due to COVID-19 to 72 across the state. Well, as we see coronavirus cases quickly approaching 5 million nationwide, unemployment concerns continue. Numbers released by the Department of Labor show that 1.2 million Americans filed for unemployment last week. Congress is still looking for a compromise on a stimulus deal to help Americans affected. The White House says if Congress does not pass a bill by Friday, the president will take executive action, making sure eviction protection is in place, among other things. Here in Montana, the newest information shows there were roughly 44,500 people who filed unemployment claims. Over 3,000 were initial unemployment claims. Unemployment rates around the state surged in spring as businesses laid off workers because of the pandemic. In Great Falls today, there's hope if you're looking for work, as Express Employment Professionals hosted a drive-through job fair looking to fill more than 30 positions. MTN's Zach Shermley has the story.
I just started today the search. I never searched before.
Since last March, I was 5.5 years working and got laid off.
Kelly and Lee Mitchell among many Montanans searching for new work during the pandemic. In May, researchers estimated as many as 75,000 jobs lost in the state from the recession. In Great Falls today, an effort to make new jobs easier to find.
We're here to help you find them and them find you.
Express Employment Professionals hosting a drive-through job fair. The agency looking to fill over 30 full and part-time positions in a variety of fields in the Electric City, with wages ranging from $12 to $25 an hour. Like the rest of the state and country, Great Falls saw record unemployment earlier in the year. Unemployment numbers skyrocketing from 3.8% to 12.2% between March and April of 2020 here in Great Falls, and on a steady decline to 6.9% in June. But some workers here in the Electric City say they're being hit harder than others. Data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics showing in April that wage and salary employment in Great Falls' hospitality industry shrunk by over 50% from the year prior. While the pandemic hits local industries differently, McKenney says he's grateful for the chance to put workers with the companies who need them.
We just don't want people to be left behind. You know, why the folks in Washington are sorting all that out, there are businesses in our area that are working, staying busy, and need help.
In Great Falls, Zach Shermley, MTN News.
An economic update this afternoon involving state leaders shows Montana has been hit hard by a lack of consumer spending. The Montana Chamber of Commerce held the meeting with University of Montana's Bureau of Business and Economic Research Director Patrick Barkey. He gave an assessment of Montana's economic forecast. Barkey says economic declines were huge in April, with healthcare, recreation, and the service industry seeing a significant impact. Since April, Barkey says the state has seen a bounce back in jobs and consumer spending. He adds Montana businesses with links to riskier activities will have more challenges ahead.
So those are things that people don't have to do or they don't want to do because they don't want to be on a plane, they don't want to be in an arena, etc. So if that's part of your business, and there are a lot of those kind of businesses there at the University of Montana, I would argue I work for one of those, we have more challenges ahead than other kinds of businesses like construction.
Barkey expects air travel to be one of the last areas to fully recover from the economic crisis. Well, the COVID pandemic pushed back a lot of training for the Montana National Guard. Temporary housing has been constructed at Fort Harrison to accommodate social distancing needs for individuals training at the fort. MTN's John Riley caught up with the airmen that can construct a small city in just a few days.
3 days. That's how long it took 11 airmen of the 219th Red Horse Squadron, with the assistance of a dozen Army National Guard soldiers, to set up their disaster bed-down system capable of housing 120 individuals.
Due to the recent events in this spring, a lot of training has been pushed. Therefore, we are operating at a different tempo. And with social distancing measures in place, we're ensuring that we provide safe housing for all of our soldiers and airmen that will be training here on site.
These units will house only 80 individuals due to the COVID guidelines on ensuring 6 feet separation between cots, and will be used in correlation with other housing on base. The bed-down system is climate-controlled with heating and AC and includes showers, laundry, and electrical. Red Horse stands for Rapid Engineer Deployable Heavy Operational Repair Squadron Engineer. The airmen are highly mobile civil engineering response force that can support contingency and special operations worldwide, often on short notice. The 219th has supported both combat and domestic operations, recently assisting with Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico was pretty interesting. We set up one kit down on the baseball diamond out in a baseball field. And then the other kit we set up on the Air National Guard base in a parking lot.
The airmen of the 219th say honestly, a year ago they were not expecting to be responding to a pandemic, but they're ready to go whenever they're called upon. Reporting from Fort Harrison, John Riley, MTN News.
You may have noticed the Red Horse Airmen wear red hats. You can find out why and more about the history of the combat engineers on our website. At the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Great Falls Public Library stopped charging late fees as people sheltered in place. Now the library is simply eliminating daily late fees for overdue items, even after the pandemic is over. Patrons are still financially responsible for lost or damaged items. They could lose library privileges if books go unreturned. The library began moving toward the policy last year, and in May, the board voted to officially change it. They say late fines act as a financial barrier to library access. The Great Falls Library typically takes in $10,000 in late fees each year and has committed to making up the revenue through fundraising. Well, Pretrial Services program is off to a successful start. We'll hear from one person who's benefited from the initiative when the news continues.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. Lewis and Clark County leaders say they've seen strong positive results from the first 2 years of the county's Pretrial Services program. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports the county commission heard today how the program helped one man turn his life around.
Matthew Hoffman says several years ago he was dealing with a serious addiction. He had been in jail several times, and he was facing 10 years after being arrested again.
Everything got taken away, and I was like, here we go again.
Hoffman was assigned to Lewis and Clark County's Pretrial Services program. The officer he worked with connected him with substance abuse treatment, peer support, and other resources. He says that helped him get his life onto a better track.
Pretrial set me up in the community to learn and grow in my recovery while being able to implement it here. That was a huge difference for me.
Hoffman testified before the Lewis and Clark County Commission Thursday as they approved an agreement with the state to extend the pretrial program for another year. Under this program, judges have the authority to direct some defendants to pretrial services instead of holding them in jail. Officers work with the defendants to make sure they attend court hearings and get needed support.
We get folks connected with whatever service they might need, whether it's housing, whether it's substance use treatment, mental health care, whatever it is, we make sure that we provide that bridge.
Kelly McBride, the county's Director of Criminal Justice Services, reported more than 600 people went through the program in 2019. Nearly 90% made all their court dates, and 78% went through the process without being arrested again. Currently, 4 pretrial officers are working with about 350 clients.
If we can have them in the community, working, paying their rent, shopping for their groceries, paying their taxes, and not being arrested on a new crime, that's what we're looking at.
Hoffman says he's remained in contact with the pretrial staff, and he wants to help other people going through the program.
They put all these pieces in place for me to be successful today. I'm super grateful for pretrial.
In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Still tracking thunderstorms this evening and looking at fire danger heading into the weekend. That's coming up next.
Get Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenens.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Good Thursday evening to you all. Dangerous fire weather conditions are headed towards the state for Friday and likely on Saturday as well. This is some of the worst that we have seen so far this summer. More on that coming up in just a second, but you can see the scatter showers and thunderstorms continuing. As the sun's gone down, the atmosphere kind of stabilizes a bit, so we're losing a little of the activity in the central part of the state, but boy, it's ramping up across northwestern Montana and northern Idaho. Fewer lightning strikes here, with the exception of a few pockets, but around Great Falls, we're blasted with a thunderstorm about 7:30, 8 o'clock. You can see some showers and maybe an isolated rumble of thunder here or there. South of Glasgow over Fort Peck Lake, a lot of lightning strikes there. And then around the Helena area, we've got a few showers, and certainly not good to see some lightning strikes work their way up the Continental Divide over forests that have a lot of beetle-killed trees in them. And look at all of this activity here in northwestern Montana and in northern Idaho. That energy from the cold front that will ultimately deliver the stronger winds coming through here for tomorrow. Looking at some satellite imagery for parts of Wyoming, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Wyoming today. We had some wildfires and some smoke plumes, but you could really see the activity on those fires growing on the satellite because of the gusty winds and the lower humidity pushing through the area. Here is the forecast for tonight. Still a couple of strong storms, maybe even a few severe storms late after midnight off of the Rocky Mountain frontier across north central Montana. Havre could get a couple of rude awakenings here by about 3, 4 o'clock with some of those thunderstorms going through. And then for Friday, no issues with the thunderstorms. It's all about the wind and the fire danger for tomorrow here. It's a mostly sunny day with cooler temperatures. And then heading into Saturday, another front going through. Not much in the way of thunderstorm activity and a lot of wind as well, high fire danger. Now, a few fire variables for the Great Falls area heading into tomorrow afternoon. Humidity very low, wind speeds, gusts maybe up to about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Things do improve. Humidity going up, wind going down later in the evening. And for the Helena area, look at the temperature not getting too hot, but humidity 14, 15, 19% or so, and wind speeds again up to 20, 25 miles per hour. Here's the forecast for tonight. A few more storms through the overnight hours, lows into the 50s and the 60s, and then heading into tomorrow for Friday, there goes the front. Here comes the wind. Strong winds developing through the morning and continuing through the afternoon. Please be aware of that high fire danger. For Saturday, pretty much the same, not much in the way of thunderstorm activity, some gusty winds, temperatures in the 70s and the 80s into Sunday. Should be a gorgeous day, even a little cool on Sunday morning. Highs in the 70s to about 80 degrees. Lighter wind, lower fire danger, and then into Monday, the temperatures start to warm back up into the 80s. Here's the 7-day forecast for Great Falls. High fire danger tomorrow with wind speeds between 15 and 35 miles per hour. Saturday, a pretty windy and dry day with continued high fire danger. Sunday looks fantastic. 75, mostly sunny with a light wind. And for the Helena area, wind speeds up to 30 miles an hour tomorrow. Watch that fire danger. Sunday, things start to tone down just a bit.
Thanks, Curtis. And while some sports are just hoping to get a season and American Legion Baseball is wrapping up theirs, more state tournament highlights are next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, tonight we're still waiting for word from the Big Sky Conference on the fate of fall sports, which of course means the fate of Bobcat and Grizzly football. There was a meeting set for 4 p.m., but the conference has yet to make a public announcement. MTN has, however, confirmed that an announcement is expected to be made tomorrow morning. You've probably seen widespread unofficial reports that the fall season is canceled, but no official indication from the conference itself. The ruling expected tomorrow will affect all sports at U of M and MSU, meaning volleyball, football, soccer, and cross country. We will update you immediately on montanasports.com when the announcement is made. And while most sports are struggling to figure out how to begin the Montana baseball season, well, it's coming to an end. Tom Wiley's in Lewistown again for the start of the Class A Legion State Tournament.
Against all odds, Montana's Legion baseball teams made it to state tournament week. The AA guys got underway in Billings on Wednesday. 8 Class A teams sorting out a championship over the next 4 days here in Lewistown at Ryan Sparks Field. Let's go to the second game of the day. Havre representing the North facing East champion Billings Blue Jays. North Stars trailing 9-0 in the 5th, looking for offense, but check out the catch from Sly Waldron at third base. Easy toss over to first for the double play, and that holds the North Stars still scoreless. Changing that, though, in the 6th is Carson Lunick at the plate with 2 on. He hits a bloop to shallow center, but it's enough to drive in 2 runs and make the score 9-2. Last chance for the Redbirds, though, in the bottom of the 7th with 2 on. Tyrell Kearsum grounds out to short, and that will do it. The Blue Jays knock off Havre to advance in Friday's winners bracket. Let's go to the nightcap. North champion Lewistown hosting Miles City, and the Mavericks get on the board first. Jess Bellows gets through the defense up the middle. 1 run crosses, but check out the effort from Isaiah Marquardt at the plate to stop the run, and that'll end the Maverick threat. Bottom of the 3rd we go. 2 outs. Taylor Smith with a deep shot to left center. That'll bring in Kyle Lee, knotting things up at 1 run apiece. Now we go to Kendall Barta at the plate, and he delivers as well. Finds some ground in right field. Smith would cross. That's the go-ahead run in the 3rd inning. This one finished after dark. For a final score, visit montanasports.com. Reporting from Lewistown, Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
Meanwhile, at the state AA tournament in Billings, the Helena Senators topped the Kalispell Lakers 8-2 to advance to Friday's undefeated semifinal. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All right, let's check out the 7-day forecast here. Before we get to that, it's got a great picture here. Bonnie Young, want to leave you on a good note here with some beautiful double rainbow picture. Thanks, Bonnie, and thanks to everybody sending in some pretty pictures here. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast, and high fire danger tomorrow and Saturday. The fire danger will die down for much of the state as we get into Sunday.
Well, finally, tomorrow is time to mark a day to honor a military hero. It's National Purple Heart Day. The Purple Heart is America's oldest decoration for military merit, created by General George Washington in 1782. Today, the Purple Heart bears his image and the Washington family crest. Since there have been, in all, an estimated 2 million Purple Hearts awarded throughout history. Very deservedly so. All right. That's all the time we have for tonight. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.